several young people secretly came to a wild cave to explore together. Looking at the tempting water cave in front of them, the companions ahead could not help but dive in one after another. The last person chose to stay on the shore because of fear, and this split-second decision made him the only survivor. After the incident, the rescue team used water pumps to drain water continuously for nearly 4 hours. As the water level gradually dropped, the sight before them made everyone present gasp. And this is what we are going to talk about today: the Gollum Cave exploration tragedy. Gollum Cave is located at the foot of Y Mountain, east of Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. The reason it is called Y Mountain is because of the giant Y symbol built by Brigham Young University on the mountain in 1906. And the name Gollum Cave comes from the character Gollum and the Lord of the Rings. Of course, this naming is not accidental. The dark, damp, and narrow passages inside the cave are exactly the same as the underground caves where Gollum lived in the movie. As an abandoned mine, Gollum Cave can be said to be a cave that integrates man-made and natural caves. According to local explorers, the entrance was once only 25 centimeters wide and was later expanded to 90 centimeters. But even so, only one person can barely squeeze inside, and after entering the cave, you need to bend over and wade through a passage about 27 meters long. At the end of the passage is a fork in the road, leading to a dry cave dead end about 15 meters long. The other is a water cave about 6 meters long. The diameter of the water cave is less than 1.2 meters, and it can only accommodate one person at a time. The water source in the cave is injected by spring water, and the water temperature is very cold. After the explorer holds their breath and swims across, they will reach a small air chamber at the other end. This air chamber is about 2.4 meters wide. There is about 1 meter of airspace above the water surface. The chamber can hold up to 8 people at the same time, and this air chamber has no other exits, meaning that after any explorer enters, the only way out is to return the same way. Swim through that 6-meter-long underwater tunnel again. It is worth mentioning that, at that time, Gollum Cave was already well known in the local exploration circle, so someone fixed an underwater guide rope between the fork in the road and the wooden piles in the air chamber, to help explorers guide their direction in the dark and muddy water. Because the structure of Gollum Cave is relatively simple and the distance is not long, at that time, it was only regarded as a slightly challenging introductory exploration point. But even so, the accident still happened. On the night of August 17, 2005, 5 friends had dinner in Provo, Utah. They were 28-year-old Scott, 24-year-old Blake, 21-year-old Jennifer, 18-year-old Ariel, and 26-year-old Joseph. Among them, Blake was the lead singer of a rock band. He and Jennifer were also a couple. The two had been dating for 6 months before the accident. And while they were chatting, they talked about the secret cave on Y Mountain. 21-year-old Jennifer mentioned that she had been there before. She told everyone that the water temperature in the cave was very cold, so cold that she almost passed out, and she later received treatment for hypothermia, although it was a bad experience. But Jennifer's description of Gollum Cave still aroused the interest of her friends. After dinner, this group of young adventurers decided to go exploring immediately. At 2 a.m. on August 18th, the group drove to the foot of Y Mountain. Everything was quiet all around, only the beams of flashlights cut through the darkness, and the small cave entrance was blocked by bushes and boulders, which was not easy to find. By the time everyone found the entrance under Jennifer's leadership, it was already around 4:30 a.m. Everyone shone their flashlights inside, and found that it was pitch black inside, and only a narrow passage extending downward could be seen. Subsequently, the 5 of them crawled into the entrance one by one. The cave was filled with a damp atmosphere, and occasionally water droplets fell from the rock wall, making a crisp sound in the silence. They bent over, and waded through the 27-meter-long passage. They indeed saw the legendary fork in the road. And just as everyone was about to enter one by one, trying to continue deeper into the air chamber opposite, Joseph and the team hesitated. He told his friends that he would stay at the fork in the road to keep watch for them, and this decision accidentally saved his life. Afterward, Joseph watched his companion's flashlight beams gradually disappear into the water. Finally, there was only endless silence and darkness left. Before long, the rope moved. It seemed to be a smooth signal sent to him by his teammates after reaching the cave chamber. Time passed second by second. In the first few minutes, he just looked into the cave occasionally, but as time went on, anxiety began to spread in his heart. After all, he had been waiting for 45 minutes and his friends had not come out of the water. Joseph began to feel uneasy, and no matter if it was shining a flashlight into the water or shouting his friends' names, there was no response from deep in the cave. Until around 6 a.m., Joseph, who couldn't help it anymore, finally called 911. Subsequently, the Provo Police Department and the Utah County Search and Rescue Team arrived at the scene. At first, the police were also very surprised. After all, it was the first time they knew there was such a cave on Y Mountain. After understanding that the cave space was narrow and the air quality was poor, the police did not dare to rush in for rescue. Instead, they decided to inject oxygen into the cave first. At the same time, they used water pumps to pump water out, and waited for the water level to drop before letting rescue personnel enter to search. Because the water level in the cave was not deep, the pumping work did not last long. Around 9:45 a.m., search and rescue personnel found the first female body in the underwater tunnel, and she was 21-year-old Jennifer. As the water level continued to drop, an hour later, a male body was found at the bottom of the water, and there were 2 other bodies nearby. These 3 people were the remaining Scott, Blake, and Ariel. At that time, all the bodies were facing the exit of the cave, as if they were about to swim out. Especially Jennifer, who was at the front, was already close to the exit. This also shows that the 4 people should have reached the distant cave chamber first, and died while trying to return. According to the preliminary report of the State Medical Examiner's Office, the cause of death for all 4 was drowning, and toxicology tests showed no prohibited substances were detected in the bodies of the 4, ruling out the possibility of drunkenness or drug use, although the cause of death was determined to be drowning. But there are many speculations about the specific cause of drowning. According to public information, the most credible explanation at present is, after the 4 people successfully swam through the underwater tunnel and reached the air chamber, due to poor air circulation in the air chamber, everyone felt respiratory discomfort, so they did not stay here for too long. When returning, Jennifer, who was leading, felt the previous discomfort again in the narrow and cold underwater tunnel. Know that she almost passed out last time because of the cold water. The symptoms this time may be more severe. Jennifer likely panicked due to hypoxia and hypothermia, and eventually fainted. And the space of the underwater tunnel only allowed 1 person to barely swim through. This means that Jennifer in front completely blocked the escape route for the people behind. In such a small space, everyone could not move forward or turn around, eventually leading to the death of the others one after another. And shortly after this tragedy occurred, Provo City ordered the entrance of Gollum Cave to be permanently blocked with concrete. Later, a monument was specially erected at the entrance, to mourn the 4 young people who died in this accident.